dissolved all rigidness last year. I still have my doubts about some people and last year because they still mull around in it. It's over. It's tomorrow. Last year, anything that started in July of last year, it's complete, whatever all of that chaos was to be about. So put it down, because you are now afforded the opportunity of seeing things from a higher perspective, and now the crystalline clarity allows you to bring forth this higher order. Now you can honor the elaborate interworkings of life, because hopefully you can see it more clearly as a very well-ordered, interrelated, loving universe. It's not going to do anything. Last year was disruption and chaos, but you're still here. Hopefully you're still here. Well, if it's your destiny, you're still here. And if you're not here on this planet, you're elsewhere, recovering, regenerating, reformatting, or reappearing. The crystal tone, we see, because we've stepped into this whole crystal tone year, it does ask you to translate your knowledge and insights in such a way that they could be universally applicable and relevant and shareable with all, thus assisting the evolution and elevation of mankind. Now, here's a very simple example of that. On my way into the studio, I made a phone call to a beautiful friend of mine down south a bit, who has found, finally, the proper, healthy way to deal with food. And in so doing, there's been a healthy weight loss over the past, I think, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. Now, applied correctly, that beautiful soul would find ways to translate what she's learned and the insights in a way she doesn't have to have them universally applicable, although oddly it will be, because this year she's going to be flying a lot to see a new grandbaby. So all she's doing is walking through an airport, right? Think of the lives her frequency is touching, because that now there's a newfound sense of joy and self-worth, self-love, appreciation of the real beauty within. So that's one way of sharing it. The other, I already know, she shared it with her daughter in a way that the daughter could hear it. Sometimes our children can't hear us worth a hoot because we're the parent, and what do we know? She found a way to share it that the daughter could hear it. This is amazing. So it's sharing on the most basic level, simply saying, could be as simple as, geez, I had to go buy a scale to weigh the food. I had to understand that I'm only allowed to have 3 meals a day, and that's it. It could be whatever, however down and dirty in the trenches, versus the ethereal walking through the airport, spine straight, head held high, with a glow that doesn't quit. So you are to embody the highest qualities that are actually encoded in your internal architecture. You are like a crystal with unique facets that contribute to the totality of its beauty. So you are reminded to honor and celebrate your diverse and unique features and contributions, as well as the contributions and facets of all individuals. So it goes right back to what I'm always harping on. Would you just do you, without narcissism, without any twisted part of reality, in that healthy, conscientious way? It could be as simple as drink more water. I don't know what you have to do. What I do know is my way is absolutely 100% correct for only one person on the planet, and it's me. Your way is 100%, if you'll listen to it, which is why the great ones say, know yourself. It's 100% correct for you. So this year is about striving to combine your gifts and enhancing your efforts while remaining very clear and lucid in the grace of your autonomy. So in other words, some of you know the word projectors. That gal that I've just referred to, who's lost the weight, she and I both know we are what is called projectors. So we have to be very careful that although we join the circle and we network, we don't get sucked into such a state of it that we actually lose who we are. I have to tell you, I finally think you do reach a point of grace, and I think it's simply grace, perhaps experience, where you recognize, whoop, time out, too much. And you're very honest and you honor that. You know, I had dinner with a gal the other evening. She's a lovely gal and talks and loves to talk. And we always have a lot to talk about. But finally, after about 2.5 hours, she was kind of ready to talk some more. And I knew I wasn't. But I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I was still that little twinge. And she looked at me and she said, "Oh, well, we could talk some more, or are you talked out?" And I thought, and very graciously, with a big smile, I said, "I'm talked out. And I want to go for a walk on the beach. It's been lovely. It's been fun. Bye-bye." So they sound almost ridiculously insignificant to even put on the air. But I'll tell you what, I knew I had stepped into my authentic self by that little thing. And that's what I want you all to watch for in your life. I don't care whether it's learning to end the conversation gracefully. You know, you be your own emperor and empress. Your individual efforts of perseverance and commitment in this new year, you will find they are invaluable. And therefore, I think you're going to find an easier time being persevering and committed. And won't that be wonderful for some of you who have buzzed around sort of out of focus and fluttering here and there? No, get committed. And with this galactic portal and assistance from the higher order of energy fields, well, ask for it. Ask. The other evening, I was helping my son with a project. It was a really nasty project in his house. And I was just kind of being Dolly Doolittle, fluttering around, trying to organize things in the wake of this awful job that he had taken upon himself. And at one point, and my son is like a lake. He is so disciplined. He is so, well, he's an architect, so you could only imagine. One foot in front of the other. He doesn't whine, doesn't complain. But this job kind of got him. And he had been at it for a few days by the time I got there. And so he'd created this airless tent in which to work, and I could feel his frustration building, and finally a couple of good old blasphemous words blasted out, and as the mother, I kind of want to run right in there and fix it, or at least help him, but it was impossible, and you couldn't, and nor should I. And so I had already written what I'm talking to you about, so I understood very well, invoke the higher order. Well, my son's dad crossed over when my son was 5 or 6 years old. Oh, man, I got that guy's energy in there with, "You help your son right this minute. You Get in there. You do this with him. Come on. This will help you keep growing. It'll help him. All of a sudden, honest to goodness, it was as if Moses held up the staff and the waters became calm. It was very interesting. And the work concluded itself very quickly after that. And there was no more blasphemy going on. So it was very interesting. So I'm telling you, call on the higher order, whoever your higher order is, And indeed, it's us, because it's only one. You'll figure that out at some point. But for right now, if you still need a sense of there's somebody else out there, go for it. And truth is, you are all in all. That's like another topic for another day. Some of you will laugh with me and get it, and others are like, oh, thank goodness, I can still call on Jesus and Mary and Joseph and Buddha, and have a good time. The problem is you're it. You are that. I'm telling you, another day. So the yellow seed portion of the year. Seeds represent the miracle of life, symbolic of the living power of potential residing in you, waiting to be released into action. I heard a little thing last night about this guy, I don't know, I'm thinking the North Pole, but it wasn't that far up there. He has a seed storage place for millions of seeds to be released just in case mankind does himself in. And I thought, wow, that's us. That's the macrocosm of us who are the microcosm. You have millions of seeds stored in yourself. What do you want to release? And for heaven's sake, if it's a year of commitment and perseverance, do yourself a favor. Pick 2 or 3 or 5 seeds. I don't know that you're exactly adept at releasing 1 million seeds all at once, because I think that causes confusion and chaos in you. But if you're going to pick a seed, pick one and stick with it. If you want to have apples, plant apple seeds, fertilize it, water it, love it, talk to the apple tree as it's coming up out of the ground. Don't rip it up before it's a seedling. Don't do that. You won't have apples. I mean, become a farmer. In the old days, and boy, does this seem old, farmers were revered for their knowledge. Somehow, like the rest of us, they're spit upon, manipulated, and scorned. I think we should be awfully thankful that we have farmers, and we should look to them for ways about farming, our life. And Jeff just told me it's Iceland. He's in Iceland. Thank you, Jeff. Oh, I'm so glad we're on the same page often. So that guy with the seeds, he's in Iceland. All right, but you are like this pod of seeds that, for most of you, your seeds have not even begun to be flicked out correctly into soil that could nurture the seeds. Sometimes it's been your problem that you just were in such a hurry you didn't do it. Other times, though, I would tell you, on this planet, the soil has been not good for you to plant seeds. And oddly, the mirror to that, of course, is how we have stripped our soil and how we have created seeds now that are, they're poisonous. So to take today to go into your seed supply, look at some healthy seeds. Take them out. See what you wish to flourish in your life. And then plant these seeds with intention, precision, and focus. And once you're seeded, you must give it TLC. You must support it. You can't, look at, again, I'll say, I can't tell you I'm going to write a book and I write 3 pages. There's that seed. Well, if I abandon it, if I don't have TLC and work on it with consistency and commitment, there's not going to be any result. There would be no tree called a book.